Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip-hop. This is a special episode of Wrestling_Hip-Hop. I'm with my guy, Takuri. How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing well on my side over here, over in the ATL.
Yeah, I got to shout out one of our past guests, the aerial artist, Zen Shi, because he made sure I say his name right. He gave me your contact for an interview. He said you're a great wrestler, so we're going to learn all about your career. What's going on?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm definitely up and coming. I'm only in my third year. Zenshi has a great career in front of him and behind him. So I was just glad to be out here talking to a whole new crowd.
All right. So how did you get involved with wrestling?
Um, well, I mean, I've been a fan of wrestling my whole life. My dad used to take me to the shows, the little flea market shows, little lucha shows. And when I became 25, after a lifetime of just bartending and just living the life, I decided to try wrestling at least once, and I joined WWE 4 under AR Fox. I started doing really well. I started traveling, and next thing I know, like I'm in Florida, Texas, Chicago, and it just kind of took off from there. But it's always been my passion. It's definitely the main passion that motivates my life.
So what motivated you? Like, a lot of people hit that point in life where so basically it was kind of like you was doing a dead end job. Basically, what kind of motivated you to say, hey, I'm better than this. I want to do something better. Let me try follow my dreams.
Um, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life. I'm originally from Chicago, and when I left the Chicago scene, I just wanted to start something new, start a whole new scene. I moved down here with my fiance at the time, and I just Googled the wrestling school, WWA 4, and I think I was 26 at the time, and some people think that's too old. A lot of people start very young, but me and her talked about it, and I'm like, I'm either going to be working a day-to-day job for the rest of my life and retire comfortably someday, or I'm just going to go at this 100% and see what happens. And I'm still at the see what happens phase, but it's definitely something that I think I needed to do or I would regret it for the rest of my life.
Shit, you almost there now. If you saying 3 years, you had that. You gotta keep at it now. You almost there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've hit up some great shows. I've met a lot of the WWE people. My long-term goal is definitely to work for WWE. But the fact that I'm traveling around different states is definitely had. I just had so many adventures, so many stories to tell, and it's. I'm in a way better place in my life mentally and spiritually because of wrestling.
And I would say, so I was gonna say, what's your athletic background? Were you like always in shape, or you had to get in shape when you started training?
That's a funny story because I've trained martial arts most of my life, so I've had that behind me. And then I did try to dabble in MMA when I was a little bit younger, around 21. But the thing about that is I weighed between like 140 to 160 pounds. And in the wrestling world, that's just way too small. So I had to do a series of bulking and cutting in order to reach like 195. So I gained about 40 pounds of muscle and fat back and forth to gain the body I have now, so I can be a top name in wrestling.
Where were you wrestling at? You was doing amateur wrestling?
I did amateur wrestling in high school.
Okay.
And then once again, going back to Chicago, that's where I was like training martial arts and MMA.
When you just did mixed martial arts, or you did a certain kind?
Uh, I personally took Taekwondo and Kung Fu, and then I just took an MMA class, which was specifically, they'll teach you like the new style of what cage fighting is.
Okay. So what kind of wrestling did you watch growing up?
I've always watched WWE because they had it in Spanish. My family can only speak Spanish, so they would watch it on the Spanish network translated. And but as I grew, the little shows that they would have locally, or that I would go with my family, was lucha shows. So a specific style of like Latin style, a very aero, dynamic, very flippy to say.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about because I know with me, I'm in California, so I don't know Spanish all the way, but I be wanting to learn Spanish just so I can watch AAA and that CMLL. I be like, damn, I want to watch it because I be watching it, but you know, when you don't understand the words, it's kind of different. But I be like, damn, whatever they talking about, they into it because them announcers be into it. So you watch any of them? The
Oh
AAA?
yeah. I'm going to be performing with AAA is doing a show in Atlanta in October. I'm going to be performing with them. Senshi will be on that show. A few other top luchadors will be on that show, and of course, I watch them. A lot of people don't realize that the American style and the lucha libre style are almost like completely different. They're currently starting to blend in a little bit, but yeah, you really have to try to study everything: American wrestling, British wrestling, Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, I had some people tell me like, I remember I had some people tell me they was like, oh, the pro wrestling here is fake, but the lucha is real. So they think, but I guess because with the lucha, you know, a lot of the athletes like they live that character, so you will never catch them outside with that mask off or whatever. They live that role, so I guess to them it has more reality to it when they're always when it's no, you know, they don't take it off and be a different person outside of the ring.
Yeah, living the life, living the lucha life. I originally wanted to wear a mask. When I was up and coming, there was a stigma that someone drilled into my head, which is like if you're not born in Mexico, you're not really allowed to be a luchador. And I don't know, from what I've talked to a lot of people, that's not a thing anymore, but a lot of traditionalists have that. So I just started practicing the lucha style with Fox, Senshi, some other promotions down here. And I do the lucha style, but I'm yeah, I wouldn't classify myself as a luchador.
I was gonna say, so can you talk about just how you came about your name and your character and your move set? Let's talk about some of that.
My name is actually my name. Yeah, that's my
Okay. What does it mean again?
Takuri is an Ecuadorian name. I believe it's a root word in the Quechua language, which is the language of the Incas. It means survival or adaptable, but it's a dead tongue, so you know it's yeah, that it's going back to the very ancient days of Ecuador.
That's tight though.
Yeah.
You
So
already
that's
good
yeah.
then. You good. They ain't gonna you good. You got the name already.
It was like I was dancing to be a wrestler. Takuri, El Luchador de Ecuador, the wrestler from the land of the golden sun. That's kind of my moniker, the Inca Dragon. That that stems from when I started wrestling. I actually did not want to do the lucha style. I didn't want to be generic. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's a Hispanic guy. He's going to be a luchador." So I actually tried to step away from that as much as possible. I wanted to do maybe a Japanese strike-based style. I use my MMA background, my martial arts background. But as I started training with the luchadors and Senshi for one of the guys, it was just so much fun, you know, flying through the air, um, uh, using maneuvers that require some level of, you know, very specialized skill. And it's a, doing some of the lucha moves itself has a little bit of thrill because of, I don't say how deadly they are, but there is a small percentage of error. But it requires agility, balance, concentration, stamina. It's definitely a challenge, and I love it. So I stepped away from denying the fact that I love lucha and just started like, you know, whatever. And that's how I got into lucha. That's how I became a luchador de Ecuador. And once again, that's how I've been able to get into promotions that specialize in lucha.
Yeah, I don't know if you because you was talking about the Japanese style. So I think some wrestlers they kind of mix up all the styles a little bit. I don't know if you watch like the Motor City Machine Guns. I think
Yeah.
Alex Shelley. I think he does a good job. Like he kind of has like you can kind of see he does the lucha sometimes, then he does Japanese, then he does the American. So I like how he does it.
Yeah, I think the awesome thing about right now, at the moment we live in, because of social media, because of video streams, you get to be exposed to so much more. Um, and you get to see different styles and you kind of get to blend them. I think there was a point in time when, you know, you would separate the lucha guys from the American guys from, but in the last maybe 10, 20 years, there's been a lot of intertwining. and it for a lot of unique styles. Like there was Lucha Underground. That was a very mainstream show that brought some lucha to the American side.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I was gonna say, but then speaking of that, but then you had like you was talking about like the new way, but the old way, like Chris Jericho or Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, they actually went to Japan. They actually went to Mexico. So then they, incorporated all that in their styles and stuff. So that's how the old school wrestlers had to go get it. They had to just go out there and train.
Yeah, that was the only like right now I can go on YouTube and watch Alex Shelley. I can go on YouTube and watch New Japan. Back then, the only way to get that idea was you know literally going to the country and literally entering the thing. I know someone told me a story that the luchadors actually started getting upset because when Americans started going there and training, they were exposing the secret art of lucha. And Eddie Guerrero was one of the innovators of that when he started introducing lucha to the American side. And they're like, why are you teaching them our ways? And I'm like, I find that type of separation crazy to think of, but that was the reality at one point.
Well, to me, just speaking of like a person that watched wrestling my whole life, if you see what happened, like they kind of like commercialized it, because especially you remember when all of a sudden when Nitro happened, you had the Cruiserweight division, you had the WWE division, but they didn't treat the wrestlers the same as they treat like the AAA and the Mexican promotions treated. So you kind of like just took their top stars, but then you got Rey Mysterio, you throwing him in the fucking wall, you taking his mask off. So it's like they were just giving them the money, but they wasn't treating them the same way. That's how I saw it.
That definitely makes sense. You have to choose whether you want to be a big fish in a little pond. I'm not saying, Mexico is a small pond, but they decided to enter America, but they were the innovators. They started the movement that allowed Eddie Guerrero to become a world champion, to allow Rey Mysterio to become like a global celebrity.
Then I don't know if you I'm gonna shout him out because I noticed he's still around too. He's on Major League Wrestling a little bit. Conan, was you a fan
Oh,
of Conan?
Conan, yeah.
Yeah, Conan was hard.
Conan is one of the guys I've met that you can see loves the business because he doesn't need to be in it anymore. He's going to shows, he's critiquing, he stays later, he stays early and after shows so he can give some feedback. Yeah, he's one of the really guys that you can see really loves the sport.
Yeah, then I was looking too, like, cause they always, I watch like it's called. I'll just shout them out since I watch it, but it's like What a Culture. But they talk about like the top 10 wrestlers that shouldn't have signed with WWE. So they was talking about Sin Cara because you remember Sin Cara was like I think he was like really big in Mexico, and then he came out here and didn't really do nothing. And I think Del Rio didn't really do. He did good, but he wasn't the star he was in Mexico, from what I hear.
Yeah. There's a lot of transitional problems, especially with the people that learned this specific. So not to dwell too much into the training aspect of it, but there is like a left way and a right way of wrestling, and lucha wrestles with a different side, while Americans wrestle with a different side. I personally have trouble. I'm dyslexic, so I actually have trouble. Once I learned one way, it was actually a hard to switch up that type of style. So I know people that train their whole life down there, and then they come up here, and that's what unfortunately happened with Sin Cara. He trained his whole life down there, came over here, didn't adapt to the style well, which unfortunately caused many botches, injuries.
You say you're dyslexic?
I'm dyslexic, yeah, so I can't I can read. Just everything looks funny, and my left and right is a little bit weird.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So how did that work out with your training? Because I know that training is kind of like from when I went through it, it's kind of hard. Like you got to remember steps and shit. So how that's kind of how's that?
I realized early on that it was going to affect my training a little bit. So for me, it was just repetition. It was just instead of relying on left and right, I had to rely on muscle memory and just consistently doing it over and over again. And once again, when I started doing started training with lucha, which is a different side, it messed me up a lot to the point where even nowadays I'll have to actively think, okay, so this is American, I have to use this side. Um, but yeah, it's a little bit more of a mental strain. But once again, I have to make sure I can adapt to it because it's the business I want to be in.
And then have you had any injuries yet?
I've been fortunate enough to be pretty safe, although I've had one injury my whole career that really took me out a couple months. It was in Chicago. I was doing a top rope Hurricane Rana, and I guess the guy, he thought something else was happening. So when he grabbed my legs, he kind of spiked me on my head, then landed on me, and then yeah. It was really crazy because Eddie Kingston was in that show, and you know Eddie Kingston's a badass and he's hardcore, but he's the first guy that came up to me and he's like, "Bro, I thought you were dead." And
So
for
what happened?
like,
You hurt your neck or what?
yeah, oh, I actually don't remember. I guess it knocked me out, and yeah, I do have some nerve damage from that injury.
Damn.
But um, yeah, once again, it didn't stop me. That's the only time I think I've ever debated considering maybe this isn't for me, because that was when you have like a hard grade concussion and nerve damage. Like I tried to do a push up, my hands weren't even, like they were kind of a little shaky. And even now, if I try to push too hard in the gym, I'll get a little shaky, but like my hands start shaking. But it's just part of it's unfortunately part of the business, but I've been staying safe since then.
Well, I mean, but like how you say you're staying safe, but I was watching this old clip with Lex Luger and Bruiser Brody. But like, what about like the person in the other ring? Like both of y'all have to be safe. So how do you build that trust, especially like if you're doing different shows? That's your first time meeting that person.
It's funny because my injury happened because I was working someone new. And my gut feeling told me, don't do this move. This move looks a little bit insecure. The guy looks insecure about this move. But I wanted to impress the people that were watching me so much that I went against my gut feeling and performed this move. And yeah, it didn't work out well. And I got injured. So what my trainer, Eric Fox, has said is like, just try, if you have that gut feeling, use that gut feeling, especially the first time around. Don't go too overboard, and then you can grow as wrestlers. Now, there's some people I've met in the ring who I've had great chemistry with, like off the bat. But even then, I won't be performing anything too suicidal that I would have to rely very heavily on them. And vice versa, I would expect them not to expect too much from me the first time around.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that's the thing too. Like you kind of gotta like, you know, if you're gonna keep wrestling, you don't want to do all your moves in the first match. You know what I'm saying? You gotta build it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then the important thing about a match and being in the ring is early on before a match, you have to have that time to talk to someone, and preferably have some ring time. There's a lot of shows I've been to, especially more down here in the South, where they get you there. Like you get there, your opponent maybe will get there like an hour before the show, and then you can just talk about it at best. And talking to someone for the first time is the best thing you can do, but you really want to feel something out in the ring. You really want to at least touch the ropes with them to a certain degree.
Yeah, I'm saying, what's that, man? You got a tight move. I think they were saying it's a helicopter, but that shit tight. Can you talk about that move you do? It's like the I guess you're doing a lead scissors and then you drag them around like that and throwing them. It's like it's like a hurricane runner, but you like, it's like a helicopter you doing at the same time. Something like that you doing. I can show you if I can look at it right quick. Yeah, that's the movie's tight. I had to log in right quick, but I'll show you the movie.
Yeah, no problem. I have a lot of different moves, and I've been changing my style.
You don't know what that one's called?
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you right now. Hold on, because I was looking at your. It was an older clip of you, and it was just showing all your best moves. Yeah, I'm gonna show you right now. It was tight. I was like, what is this? It was the best of 2016. Yeah, you got some tight moves. I was looking at all your moves. No. Here you go. Let me. I'm gonna share the screen, and then you can see it. Let me share the screen. I want to see what this move's called. All right, you see my screen?
Yep.
Oh! Tony's gonna fake it till he makes it. He's trying to make it to the end of this one. Round he goes! Oh, down we
Right
go!
there.
No. What the heck? Oh, helicopter here. He comes out here and cheap shots me. He's showing. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that movie. But it's actually tucked. Oh, what a power.
That's just a helicopter head scissors. It's just a head scissors, but with a little spin. I think they call it the helicopter head scissors. Once again, that's one of those moves that they're fun to do. But if you see that, that was actually my first year training. A lot of the guys that I did that with ended up dropping me and scraping my head across the mat. So I stopped doing that move unless I really trust a person.
Then what's your finisher right now?
I have a couple that I'll bring out. I have a thrust kick and a power slam. It's called a Coca Crush. I have a palm strike into a face buster. That's called Hero's Rise. And the main to-go finisher I've been using most of my career is called Dream Maker, which is a modified go to sleep, but I spin them out and then slam them into my knee as they're falling.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of good too to have like multiple finishers, because like say you fighting a real big dude and you can't hardly do, you know.
That's the first. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of Evolve?
Yeah, they're on WWE right now.
Yeah, so you'll be seeing me on that. I did a couple shows with them.
Okay, you about to get some royalty money then.
I don't know about that. I think we signed off the. Well, we'll see. I have to really talk to them about that.
Yeah, because I think people be saying like whatever shows are on the network, the people get royalties, like anything on there. So they're on there now. I think it's like they added like a couple indie shows on there. I know Evolve one up. I ain't been watching it yet though.
No, they added WXW. They're adding Evolve one episode at a time, and I think they added Limitless. I've been binge watching everything.
I would say, what do you like Major League Wrestling?
Pardon.
Major League Wrestling?
I see it.
You watch it?
Yeah, I actually just faced Ariel yesterday. I faced Ariel Dominguez. I don't know if you've seen him on there. He's like 5'1". He has like a little athletic gimmick. Yeah, so I see it. That's another promotion that I'm aiming for. Originally, my goal was to try to work for Evolve consistently because Evolve is a gateway to WWE, but they stopped running now, especially due to the pandemic and everything. So now I'm trying to see what is starting to run and where should I aim to. So MLW is a good promotion I'm looking to enter hopefully in the next year or so.
What about All Elite?
I love All Elite. A lot of my friends are on it consistently now. I know most of them. But I just feel I would love to work for them. I'm gonna say I wouldn't. It just doesn't suit my style personally. I feel like I like a structure and style that WWE has set up and Lucha Libre has set up. AEW is still experimenting heavily with all their different match styles, which is also cool. I love it. And once again, if they offered me, I would definitely say yes. But if I want to be honest with myself, my goal is WWE. And I wouldn't mind working for anyone to get there. And I would also love to wrestle for Japan. I mean, I have a goal, but I want to really travel. I want to go everywhere.
Yeah, just from the fans, I know a lot of people, they like All Elite right now, and then New Japan, then WWE right now is kind of like they're good, but a lot of people with WWE just seems like they don't use the talent correctly. Like the new talent, they never I don't know. I will ask you about AR Fox, because I was actually watching his match. He had a match in Game Changer Wrestling a little while ago. So you've been working with him for 3 years?
Who, AR Fox?
Yeah. So you've been in his gym for 3 years, right?
Oh yeah. I've been training with him for it's gonna be 4 years in March next year.
So what made you pick his gym?
It was actually, I think at the time it was one of two schools operating at the time in Atlanta. So really, it was only I was down here. Well, I came down here because the school was down here.
Okay.
So I was considering going to a school in Chicago. They produced talent like Mustafa Ali, Kalisto, but they were at I think $2,100 at the time. And AR Fox's school at the time was like 900. I know the rates have gone up since they've gotten a lot of talent signed to WWE, but at the time that was the most affordable, and they had a payment plan. So yeah, really, to be honest, I want to say it was just the fact that it was affordable to me.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the part people forget too. Like people want to be wrestlers, but they got to remember they got to pay for the school.
Yeah, and trust me, a lot of people will pay it, and it's crazy. It's not cheap. It's not cheap consistently moving forward. I mean, you have to think about the school, you have to think about the gear, you have to think about the traveling, and the amount of people that go there, they go there for the first day, the second day, the third day, and never come back. And I'm like, wow, that is an investment. But at least they were honest with themselves and understood that this isn't for everyone. It is a challenge. It's not a hobby. This is almost a lifestyle.
Hmm. So where you see your career in like say 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I either hope to be wrestling for a top promotion like WWE or New Japan, or even Impact. To be honest, Impact's been doing pretty well.
I'm a big Impact fan. I'm a big Impact fan.
Yeah,
Back in the day. Yep. I've been watching them since back in the day.
Oh yeah, same. I took a little break during a little bit of that turbulence when they were with Dixie Carter, but yeah, and especially now, I think Tommy Dreamer is one of their bookers, so he's really turned the roster around.
Yeah, my homie over there too, Chris Bay.
Oh yeah, I popped really hard when he got the X Division title. That made me. But I don't know. I mean, he's still there. I think I don't know what they're doing. Every promotion has so much talent lately. That's the only concern I have, that I may get lost in the shuffle. Because I want to be. I'm a Latin wrestler. I want to be an inspiration to other Latin wrestlers. If you talk to 90% of Latin wrestlers, if you talk to like 90% of wrestlers, they'll say how Eddie Guerrero, Ray, they just were an inspiration. And I kind of hope to be that one day to, yeah, I guess that's my long-term goal, to be an inspiration to other people to follow their dreams.
Yeah, I would say just as a fan, man, because I'm a big fan, I'd be like, man, I think one of these wrestling organizations need to talk to me because I could be a good writer. But I would say just keep working on your character and just keep making yourself unique. Because once you're like, if you got that look and you look unique, so people won't like you. So like how your hair is, that's cool. So just keep building on your character and keep making yourself stand out. And that's how you're gonna stand out. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta look different. You can't come out looking like all the other wrestlers before you. You gotta be like maybe you can have like something that gives them honor, but not like just looking just like everybody else. Like some gotta separate you. So just keep working on the character, bro.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Even we was watching yesterday. Sorry to interrupt you, but yesterday we was watching like the old WrestleMania, like 17, 18, Stone Cold and The Rock. You remember? That's what shit. Once they start being themselves and they was like raw and they was just being themselves and they had their own character, they took off. But when they was like Stunning Steve and he was Rocky Maivia, they wasn't doing shit because the fans didn't like that shit. You gotta like be unique, man.
That's I don't know if you've seen a lot of my stuff, and that's actually the hardest thing about wrestling. Like you can go in the ring every day, and trust me, I train almost every day, Monday through Thursday. So as long as it's open, I'm there. I'm either working out or practicing on the move. If I'm not there, I'm studying some wrestling. But you can do that so much. But the reality is, right now with social media and everything, and even it's been like that the whole time. Characters is what sells merchandise. It's not there's someone always told me that a move never sold a shirt, and it's pretty much true. Like you need to have that hell yeah or bring it or 316. I know I was talking to a marketing guy and he told me you have to make yourself marketable. Lately I say this one thing, I say uno mas after every chop, after kick, and it's like that's one thing that's helped me get over every promotion. I mean, I'm over here in Tennessee in a no-name hick promotion. And I'll be like, uno mas, and I'm introducing at least a little bit of Spanish to people that don't even know what it means. It's actually really fun.
Nah, man, I would say actually, I'm gonna ask you. So we got to go into your top fives in a minute. But one of my favorite wrestling promotions is actually from Memphis, Tennessee. They was around in like the 80s, so it was Memphis Championship Wrestling. But Undertaker started there, Psycho Sid started there, Jeff Jarrett started there, Lawler was there, and everybody used to come there and wrestle there, man. It was so great. Like, just type them in on YouTube, type in like CWF Memphis Wrestling. Man, that shit was so good, man. It was like the best wrestling ever.
It's not Jerry Lawler's promotion, is it?
It was he used to wrestle a lot. No, it wasn't USWA. It was actually Jerry Jarrett's promotion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, it was before USWA. I think it turned into USWA, but I'm talking about early 80s. So like Sting was on there, Undertaker was on there, Ultimate Warrior was on there. All of them like before they first started. So they was like super green. So it was like, you just got to see that shit and like see how they did now. You'd be like, wow. I think even Scott Steiner was on there. But I'll ask you, so who's your top 5 wrestlers?
Top 5 wrestlers?
Yeah, male wrestlers.
Oh, wow. Top 5 male wrestlers. I mean, I can give you the number 1. That's always going to be Eddie Guerrero. Undertaker. Undertaker's up there. You know what? So we have 1 and 2. I'll work backwards from there. So we'll have 5. The Rock. I'm trying to think of, and I'm not trying to. I grew up watching WWE, but I have been inspired by other people. I've been looking at a lot of Okada lately. I don't want.
Raw.
Yeah, so I will put him at least on the list. I want to throw in, not just to throw him in, but I've been watching a lot of old school Lucha Libre. So I would, okay, so boom, boom, boom. I don't know, I never think about this, so it put me on the spot.
So
Daniel Bryan, there it is.
what's your 5 tag teams?
Oh, damn, 5 tag teams. That I don't have much exposure to. I would have put Motor City Machine Guns. I've been looking at them a lot lately. The Dudley Boys, just because I love tables. Let's see. We have Team Hardy, Team Extreme. That WrestleMania pop. I was there for that WrestleMania. That was a pop. Chavo and Eddie. I'll always remember that. And we'll put finally on the top list. Can't think of it. Ooh, I'll go a little bit old school because I'm watching. I'll put the Mega Powers.
Okay. I would say, do you have a tag team partner?
If I have to team up, I do have a tag team partner. He's another local luchador. His name's King Garuda. So I always tell people I'm a singles wrestler, but I can be part of a tag team. So, and he is someone that I've traveled with consistently. And it's funny because the reality is the lucha style is so different. Half the time we travel to shows to introduce ourselves as a tag team, they usually put us against each other because we can work so well.
And then do you have you ever had a manager or a valet? Because that could be another way you stand out too. I was thinking about that, like, depending, how like Paul Heyman, I think he's helping Roman Reigns right now. That's the best thing they could ever did. That's the best thing they could ever did. He about to be good now. You got Heyman on him. But yeah, you had any managers or valets yet?
No, not that people haven't offered. It's just when I think manager valet, I always think heel, like bad guy, and I've almost been a career face, but I do think that is something I could look into if it's offered, of course.
So I would say this is one thing I don't know because I never talked to nobody about managers. So are managers actually like doing stuff off the screen too, or is it just the on the screen stuff they're doing? Like, do they actually manage y'all in real life too, or it's just
there's very few people who do have like on-screen and off-screen managers. I did have
Macho Man. I think Macho Man was the only one.
Elizabeth, well, she was there forever. Well, when they were. Yeah, so there is such a thing as wrestling managers and wrestling scouters and bookers and on that side of the business, but usually they don't interact in both ends from what I've seen.
That's cool. All right, man. And what would you like to say to your fans and supporters?
What would I like to say? Just to any of my fans, supporters, if you're out there, we're living through really weird times right now. So stay strong. Things will get better. Stay positive. Make sure to follow your dreams. And yeah, let's just remember that we're all people, and we're all trying to grow to a better future for, just a better future.
All right, man. I want to say thanks for coming through politicking with me.
No problem, man. I'll make sure to share it. I'll be looking forward to seeing this as well.
No doubt. I would say whenever you get on WWE, man, you gotta come back and give me an interview.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll also probably I'll have to go down. Oh, you're in Cali, right?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego. Well, yeah, if you ever come out here, come to with SoCal, come back up, try to come out here.
I'll make sure to hit them up, man. I'll make sure to hit them up. I'll hit you up. It was definitely a pleasure.
All right, bro. What's your social media again?
My Instagram is Takuri Fit. My Twitter is Takuri Lucha. And you can just look up my name, Takuri, for my Facebook.
You got any merch?
I sell 8x10s at the moment. I will have an order of shirts coming out shortly, but not till October.